In our previous class, we have discussed about coercion and undue influence. We have seen what is coercion and what is undue influence. From that, we are going to discuss the points of distinction between coercion and undue influence. Coercion, we have seen that when physical force is used to get the consent of the other party, that is called as coercion. Coercion, these are the acts which are forbidden by Indian Penal Code. These are prohibited by Indian Penal Code. When one person commits or threatens to commit acts forbidden by Indian Penal Code, we can call it as a coercion. Use of physical force to get the consent of the other party. What is undue influence? Undue influence is exerted by one party to the contract over the other party. The party who is exerting undue influence, he is in a dominating position. That means the parties are not in equal footing with respect to their social status, financial status, or educational status. One party is in a dominating position, another party is in a weaker position. The party who is in a dominating position has taken disadvantage of his dominating position in order to induce the other party to enter into contract or agreement, and he has received unfair advantage in the contract, that is undue influence. Now what are the points of distinction? Sometimes this question is may be asked for 5 marks, so we'll discuss 5 points of distinction between these two. First point, obtaining the consent. So how the consent is obtained, on that basis this distinction is made, that is coercion. In case of coercion, how the consent is obtained? Consent is obtained by committing or threatening to commit an act, that means an offense. Offense means a crime which is forbidden, which is prohibited by Indian Penal Code. In case of coercion, consent is obtained by either committing or threatening to commit an act forbidden by Indian Penal Code. In case of undue influence, how the consent is obtained? Consent is obtained by dominating the will of the other person. So this is the first point of distinction between these two. Second distinction is made on the basis of type of force used. In case of coercion, which type of force is used? In case of coercion, physical force is used to obtain the consent. In case of undue influence, mental or moral force is used to obtain the consent. Second distinction is made on the basis of party. Now what is this distinction? In case of coercion, coercion may be used by any other person. It is not necessary that he should be a party to the contract, and may also be used against a stranger to the contract. Means what? Say for example, A says to B that if you will not enter into contract, if you will not sign this document, I will kidnap your son. Son is not a party to the contract, but force is used or threat is given to son's life. He is not a party to the contract. So he is a third person to the contract. May be used by any other person, or may also be used against a stranger to the contract. So we have discussed here, in case of son, he is a stranger to the contract. A may tell B that you have to enter into contract with C. You have to sell your property to C for such and such amount. If not, I will kill you. A is a stranger to the contract, but he is the person who is giving a threat. So may be used by any other person. A is any other person to contract. He is telling B to sell his property to C. He is not a party to the contract. May also be used against a stranger to the contract. A is telling B that I will kill C, your son, if you will not enter into contract. C is a stranger to the contract. Clear? In case of undue influence is exerted by a party to the contract, not a stranger to the contract. So it should be exerted by a person who is a party to the contract and not by the person who is a stranger to the contract. It should be between the parties to the contract. So this was the third point of distinction on the basis of force which is used, which is induced on the parties to the contract. Next point of distinction between these two is made on the basis of presumption. Now, what is presumed in which case? In case of coercion. In case of coercion, there is no presumption by law. Law will not presume. Presume means deem or take into consideration. Law will not presume anything, but the party must prove that consent was taken under coercion. So the party who wants to avoid the contract is voidable. That party who wants to avoid the contract, that party has to prove that the consent was taken under coercion. In case of undue influence, the party who is in a dominating position has to prove that undue influence was used. Otherwise, court will presume. So in case of undue influence, court will presume that there was undue influence. Then who has to prove? The party who was in a dominating position, that party has to prove that there was no undue influence used by me. Court will. Otherwise, if he fails to prove that, court will presume that there was undue influence. Fifth point of distinction is made on the basis of nature of liability. So, which attracts criminal liability, which does not attract criminal liability? Coercion. It attracts the provisions of Indian Penal Code. Indian Penal Code, that is criminal liability. So, it is a law with respect to crimes, offences, etc. Coercion attracts provisions of Indian Penal Code, that is criminal liability. In case of undue influence, it does not attract any criminal liability. So these are the points of distinction between coercion and undue influence. Thank you.